Welcome to Best of the Nest, a program produced by the television production students of Armstrong High School that takes a look at things from the students' point of view.
Hello, I'm Onyx Taylor of AHS-TV, and in this segment of Best of the Nest, we will take a look at our school spirit and how it's viewed from the student's perspective. We will be talking with Phoenix Petrosky and Rocco Swartz to get the hawk's eye view, but first, let's take a closer look at our school environment.
Hello, I'm Nashaya Kuntz of AHS-TV, and today we'll be taking a closer look of Armstrong High School's school environment. We took the halls of Armstrong High School to see what Mr. Kluken had to say. Mr. Kluken, we wondered what was the environment of your high school when you were a kid?
I went to Ford City High School. I graduated in the late 80s, so it was a completely different environment. I don't think, not once did I ever worry about any kind of dangers in school or anything. It was just a totally different atmosphere than it is today.
And Mr. Kluken, how do you think Armstrong's environment has changed over the years?
Here at Armstrong, I don't think it's really changed a whole lot. At least I don't feel things has remained pretty high. I mean, I've been teaching for 25, 26 years. I mean, I've definitely seen a lot of changes in things. The addition of the cameras, then the addition of security guards and metal detectors, things like that. So I think overall, the security of the schools is very good. I think students should feel safe here at Armstrong.
And do you think a safer a student feels, or the better the environment and behavior of that student becomes?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the safer you feel, the more relaxed you feel. I feel the more relaxed you are in a class, the more you're willing to participate and not have all those other stressors and worries going on, and you can just concentrate more on what's going on in class.
We also went to see what Mr. Commodus had to say on the matter. What was the environment of your high school?
You got to remember, I went to high school back in 1988, so it's been a little while. But we had an open campus. People were able to walk between our buildings in our high school, and we had some fights on occasion. But for the most part, we all looked out for each other, and at the end of the day, we tried to take care of each other the best we could.
How has the school environment over at Armstrong has changed over the years?
The hardest thing we had to do is we had to bring multiple schools together as one. And not by any means do I think we're there yet, but I think we're starting to see a lot of positivity. The students are starting to buy into our core values, and they're starting to believe in the statements. Our teachers are starting to believe in the statements that this is what we want best for our students. And I think if we do those things, that we'll have the graduates leaving here with exactly the type of citizens we want them to be.
And do you think the more students feel safe, the more better a environment or positive the school environment becomes?
I think safety is very important in that feeling. It's one of those hierarchy of needs, and you learn that as you go through social studies classes, that the students need to have that sense of safety and sense of security before they start to learn. So absolutely.
Hello, I'm Ava Kovach of AHS-TV, and today we're taking a closer look into our student section. We took to the halls of AHS to see what Chase Jablonski has to say. Can athletes be distracted by student sections?
Yes, absolutely.
Why do you think that?
Because there was a time where my buddy, Phoenix Petrosky, he parted the seas of the student section in his wife beater and ripped it so you could see his bare chest. Yeah. And the other team was laughing, so clearly it can have an effect on another team.
That's nice. Should students be allowed to chant against opposing teams?
Absolutely, because maybe those teams are rivals, so.
If they're not rivals, what do you think? Should they still be allowed?
Absolutely, because you're playing against them. You want them to lose, so what's the point?
Should students get in trouble for chanting directly at a teammate on the opposing team?
Yes, absolutely, because maybe they're friends and they have like an inside joke, or maybe they're beefing and they need to settle that beef.
Well, there you have it, folks, straight from the Hawks' beak. Back to you in the studio.
For those of you just joining us today, I'm Onyx Taylor of AHS-TV, and I'm joined today with Phoenix Petrosky and Rocco Swartz to talk about the school environment here at AHS. Thanks for joining us today. What do you think the school environment is here like at AHS?
Thank you for having me, and I think we have like a spectacular environment, and that's honestly about more how you come into here. Like I come in here every day, and I'm not a scholar. I don't really grind my work as maybe some other students, but I'm happy when I'm here because I know like there's teachers that care about me. There's cool stuff to do, like just, I don't know, hang out with my friends, but like it's a good time, and like I'm gonna miss it personally. So I think it's a great environment.
And what's your opinion on this?
I think the school, like he said, it all depends on how you come in the morning. Like if you come in with a positive attitude and think that you're gonna have a good day, then you're gonna have a good day. But if you come in slacking and you're like, oh, I don't wanna go to this class, I wanna skip this class, you're clearly gonna, already starting off, you're gonna make yourself have a bad day. So I feel like it all depends on you and how you make your environment at school.
All right, and then 5% of students across America are saying that they don't feel safe at school. Would you say that your safety here would affect how motivated you are to do your schoolwork?
I mean, I say safety in school is like a big part of everything, but like I personally feel safe in our school. We got all these security guards walking around. They're allowed to carry arms. I feel like if anything were bad to happen, I would feel safe so I can come to school and not really have to worry about anything bad happening. I can just focus on my schoolwork.
Me personally, I think we have one of the safest schools. I know our security guards, I'd say pretty well. I come in late some days. When I say some days, it's more times than I should, but over that time of coming in late, I have met every security guard, and I think they are more than qualified for the job, and some of them might be overqualified. I feel like we have like special units here. Like I had to wrestle one of them for wrestling practice almost every day. He put me in a chicken wing. He had me eating my face. Like, it's just, I wouldn't want those guys chasing me down, so I feel safe with them. I love them.
All right, and keeping this in mind, those who should shoulder the responsibility if something negative were to happen at this school?
I guess that would probably fall more on the hands of the administration, because I know it wouldn't be their fault for the direct source of maybe anybody or anything coming into the school to inflict harm on the students, but it really, you should be able to teach your students like this is a place where we can all come together as a community, and that should just be addressed. Nobody should feel left out here. So the only reason that would be is the staff, and like the students. There will be bullying throughout high school. It's high school, but I think more than likely, the staff has a huge impact on the students more than other students have on each other, and it would fall amongst the administration and the higher up staff. I'm not gonna, no offense, but I'm not gonna blame a janitor for me getting harmed, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, me getting harmed, I would put it my blame, or I think who it should be blamed on. I feel like it would be, like Phoenix said, someone like higher up. The staff has a strong perspectives on every student here, I'd imagine. So like I feel if like students are bullying other kids, teachers should be able to like step in and do their job and stop. But if it comes to something bigger than that, I feel like it could land on like the security guards as well, keeping us safe, and then just the rules from administration.
All right, and do you think that there's anything at AHS that we've normalized that we shouldn't have?
I don't really think that AHS has anything like bad that we really normalized. Like stuff happens, but I don't think that they've ever like, we've started to do anything like that's consistently bad.
Yeah, me too. I thought about it. No, I love our school. I think it's lit. I'm just gonna say that. I know it's a slang word and we're on the news or whatever, but it's lit here.
All right, and then 1 in 3 teens tend to struggle with mental health. Do you think AHS does a good job at addressing students who struggle with this problem?
Me personally, yeah. I've had like, when my grades slip up, I've had teachers come talk to me. Like I haven't had really, I wouldn't say any like total mental health issues. But yeah, I've been down in the dumps before, and I think the teachers have always been there to help me. Like, there's a couple great teachers like in mine, like Mr. Zablocki, great guy. Like, he's reached out to me about like my grades, and he's not only just like told me, hey, get them up. He's helped me. Like, he's actually been like a helping figure in my life. And same with one of our principals, Coach Cominos. Like, he's talked to me, and like we've had conversations that I think have meant a lot. And it's just, there's a lot of people around the school that are willing to reach out and help the students that they know like they can help. And I would say that they made an impact on my life.
That's good to hear. And do you have anything to say on this?
I personally have never really dealt with anything like mental health, but like I feel that our counselors and stuff here are able to help students. Like, if a student needs help, they're never going to just turn them away. They're always going to sit down, take their time, help them with what they need help with. So I think our school is pretty good at that.
If I may tap in one more time, I have a buddy who, he's no longer in school, but he had some mental health issues going on, and a teacher that I don't even think he had in class, and they were just like, she was a nice person that he could talk to, and yeah, like, he just really liked having that. And like, he did have some issues going on, and that's his business, but like, she helped him through that. And I can see, even in the short time where like he reached out to her and she helped, in the matter of a week, he like already seemed so much more like energy-full and motivated. So I think every teacher here is just great.
All right, and then keeping that in mind, states like Washington and California, they actually recognize mental health as a legitimate reason to miss school. Do you feel like we need that here at Armstrong and that we should begin to have that?
Okay, so this is gonna be, I would say, that's like more of a political problem, but here's how I view it. No, we should not be excused from school because of mental. I think there are some days where you are just overwhelmed with mental, like, whatever it is. There's just stuff on your mind that you can't handle at that given time. Yeah, take a day. But if you end up missing like 40 days and you're saying, my mental health's so bad, I just need to stay home. No, that's why your mental health is bad. You need to come face your problems. If you have social anxiety, you need to get out there. You need to be working with your peers. You need to make memories. You can't have every memory lie upon, I stayed at home because I was just so anxious and I never got out there in the world, and I hated high school because I didn't like that kid that sat across from me. All he did was talk and I never had the confidence to talk. No, that's only your fault. And I get that it like can be so much bigger than that sometimes, but there are ways to help it, and you can't just rely on doctors and like telling the staff like, I need a day off. No, you need to face that, because the only person strong enough to overwhelm yourself is you. So you got to get past that yourself, I think.
I agree. And for you?
I don't think that we should be excused for mental health, because I feel like that's something that, yeah, some people struggle with and can't handle. But like Phoenix said, I feel if you put your like thoughts towards stuff and you can actually start to fix that yourself. Like, and if you, like he said, if you're missing a lot of schools and you're blaming mental health for it, then I think that you should go to like, just get like a therapist or something, and then just like start visiting a therapist all these days. But no, I don't think people should be excused for mental health.
All right, and then do you think that there's anything that we as students can do to make big changes about the environment here at AHS? Like, if anything negative were to happen, so we can make it positive again?
Yeah, 100%, and I think we've witnessed it. This whole class of students and the classes below my senior class, we've all seen it throughout the hockey encounters. And not to bring that up, but seriously, that was something our school had to overcome. We had a true issue, and I think we 100% did that. We came back the next year with sports, and that would be this year. And people came there just so positive. A lot of more people came out for games, it seemed like, and the whole environment changed. There was an Armstrong Armada, it was called, and it was led by one of our students here, and I think that also was a big help. And I think everybody just came together, and if more stuff like that can get done, we can work together as students and overcome any problem we have.
I'm going to have to 100% agree with Phoenix. Like, back on that whole hockey situation, you look and there was nobody that wanted to come to our games after that. And everybody started to come together, fix it, recognize that we did make a mistake, and we all just put it together and then fixed it. So.
All right, and then keeping that in mind, since you actually did bring up the hockey incident, as peers, do you think our actions affect everyone and not just the people in close circles?
Yeah, I actually heard something the other day that was like along the lines of you might have the slightest impact on somebody, so slight that like it's not worth ever missing a single beat, because no matter if you just smiled at someone in the hall, maybe that person didn't get a smile today, and your smile lit up their day. So it's those little things, and I think I think that's just like what we can do. Just very little things have the biggest impact on somebody. Let's say I never talked to Rocco at all, and then one day I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go talk to Rocco. I just go sit down. We end up talking about tree leaves for a half hour. Why did I talk to him about tree leaves? I don't know. Never met the kid a day in my life. We talked about tree leaves. He might be my best friend now. Like, it's just so little of things that you don't think of that make the biggest impact. Like, that's just what I think.
All right, and do you have an opinion on this?
I kind of think that he said everything that I was thinking in that, so I'm going to have to agree with Phoenix.
All right, and then a major sign of the environment at any school is their student section, and AHS is honestly no exception. We have a very active student section here, especially this year, and that generally reflects the attitude of our students. Keeping this in mind, do you think our words have a negative effect on rivals at our sporting events?
Yeah, but I get that it has to be held back, especially with the harassment issues. That's just, that's vulgar, it's wrong. But I think some of the negative things, like saying like boo, might not be as bad sometimes, because a little competition only motivates. If another team hears that, they're not gonna be like, oh guys, we need to get up. They're telling us boo, like, oh, we should just pack it up and go home, guys. This is done. No, another team hears that. Anytime we're at another team or another school and their student section's yelling at us, they're saying stuff, it's like, guys, are we gonna prove them wrong, or are we gonna sit here and take that? So I think it depends. Mm-hmm. It really depends. And it depends how the student section's chanting. If they're gonna chant horrible, wrong things, that doesn't need to be said. But if it's just like, let's go Armstrong, the other team hears that, they're gonna be like, okay, let's not let them yell that. Like, I think that's just really as simple as it is.
I feel like sometimes our words can have a negative effect on other students or players, but I feel like there's a certain line, like Phoenix said, you can go so far, but you don't want to cross that line. Mm-mm. So like, I feel that we should be able to like chant, I wouldn't say chant, but like cheer for our own team, and like he said, you can throw in a couple boos and stuff like that, but I feel like you can't cross a certain line with that.
All right, and then do you think that there should be a punishment whenever the students cross that line?
For sure. I feel like if you go to a certain extent where you are like causing that big of a problem for everybody, then I feel like you need to face up and take responsibility for your actions.
I really like how he said, take responsibility for your action. That's exactly what I thought. If you think you're going to be big and yell and stuff and you want to make somebody else feel like garbage, well, have fun with your 3 days sitting at home. You're going to feel like garbage because now you're 3 days behind in class. So you get what you give in this world.
All right, and then do you think that our student section should be more monitored so that we can try and stop these issues?
No, actually, and I know that might be surprising for some to hear, but there was a lot of monitoring on the student section this year, rightfully so. But I think as we move forward, there should still be monitoring, but I think as we move forward, there should be some leniency, especially with these new classes coming in. Like, they didn't do anything, but they should still be watched. But a thing they did this year with hockey was they had a parent come in the student section. He also helped us chant. He was, I don't know the gentleman's name, but he was a really good guy and a really good guy for the environment. At first it was like, who's this bimbo? He's 40. And then like a couple games, or like at the end of the first game he was there, it's like, okay, this guy's cool. And it wasn't like the principals breathing down your neck. Like, not that the principals are bad, it's just like, it's kind of weird. You got the principals right above you and you're trying to like chant and have a hoot and a holler with your buddies, and it's like, so I really like the fact that a parent or an adult stepped up and decided to go in the student section. Mm-hmm. So it was also being restricted to nothing bad or vulgar, but being allowed for us to yell and have a good time. So I really like that.
And do you have anything to say on this
I
matter?
feel like it should be monitored up to like a certain extent. I don't think that we should have somebody like zone hawking our student section where we're just like, because as students in a student section, your point or the main purpose of you being in the student section is for you to cheer for your team and get them hyped up and everything. And I feel like as a student, if there's a, like Doug said, a principal behind my back just staring at me, I'm gonna feel nervous and I don't wanna say anything wrong to get in trouble. So I feel that, yeah, it's good to have it monitored somewhat, but I don't think there should be like somebody like right over top of us. And
All right, and to wrap things up, do you think that our student section fairly reflects the school environment here?
no, because I would say that our student section has had bad, I don't know what word to use, like had a bad past, I would say, but I feel like it doesn't really reflect on all the students there because there's some kids there that had nothing to do with things, and then there was some kids there that are super nice but had stuff to do with stuff. So I feel that it doesn't really reflect on our school and environment and students here. It's just like I'm out of words for it.
Yeah, I do. And this is actually the one point I'm going to oppose Rocco on. I think, and I've mentioned this multiple times throughout this interview and talk, but I think the school and the student section are a direct reflection because I felt way better this year in comparison to last year. And last year we had a negative student section. We got in trouble and there were issues. And that was a reflection of what was going on in school. There was a fight club in school last year. We don't have fight clubs this year. What we did have this year was the Armstrong Armada. I haven't heard too many things about fights. And frankly, I think that is a reflection of what the student section had bonded and created the students, gluing them together in a way where we could move forward past our negative actions and only commit to positive actions. And I think it is 100% a reflection of the students that go through these halls.
All right. Thank you to Phoenix and Rocco for joining us today to get the hawk's eye view on our school spirit. Until next time, I'm Onyx Taylor of AHS-TV. Keep on soaring.
Students in communications media at Indiana University of Pennsylvania can focus on a variety of areas, including media promotions. Our promotions students learn their skills by working in a hands-on environment, gaining real-world experience. They learn how to use media to promote, produce, and manage events, and how media organizations operate. They create promotional campaigns and help clients pitch their services, products, and events. With excellent classes led by experienced teachers, the Communications Media Department at IUP is perfect for students interested in media promotions.
Well, that's our show for this week. Best of the Nest is a production of the students enrolled in television production courses at Armstrong High School. Join us again next time for a look at some of the unique things happening in and around Armstrong High School from the students' point of view. Until then, from our nest to yours, have a great week.